Rockwell here again to talk to you about my medical condition, which is called functional neurological disorder. After I posted my videos the last couple days, the question I got the most was, when did you first start having symptoms, and when did you get your diagnosis of functional neurological disorder? So I was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder at the Mayo Clinic about a year ago, in late October 2019. If I'm being honest with myself, I believe that I first became symptomatic about 5 years ago, but it doesn't all come on at once. It starts with twitches, uncontrolled movements. In my case, not every case of FND, but in my case, it has only ever affected my right side for some reason. My left side has been completely normal, but it has had a devastating effect on me, mainly because I was right-handed, and it starts a lot with your hand just not going where you want it to go, or a lot when I was sleeping, I would have a lot of uncontrolled movements, which my doctors and even myself kind of attributed to being so arthritic in my shoulders. I originally injured my left shoulder in the Marine Corps. I lived a pretty hard lifestyle, between the constant working out, CrossFit, weight training, you name it. I was doing it. I was a terrible patient when it came to my shoulders, to be honest. So yeah, if I'm being honest, it was about 5 years ago that I started having pretty severe headaches. And then about 3 years ago is when everything started getting very serious. 3 years ago is when I basically got a massive headache, and it never went away. I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but I had a 5-alarm headache that started in roughly early January 2018, and it never went away for about 2.5 years. It was extremely difficult to live with. It was as if there was a white hot ember right behind my right eyeball, and it would put so much pressure on my head, on my brain, that I would often tell people I feel like my head is about to crack open like an egg, and my brain was just going to fly out of my head, and that my eyeball was just going to shoot out of my head like it was on springs. It was that uncomfortable. It was that painful all the time. And then other times it would get way worse out of nowhere. And then just symptom after symptom just kept presenting itself. And it's really tough. So if you're going through something similar, there is no quick, easy answer to tell you that there's no test, there's no positive way. It's not like having a broken leg or an aneurysm or something like that. There's no test to say, oh yeah, you have functional neurological disorder. It is a diagnosis that comes through elimination. They have to eliminate all these other things: MS, Parkinson's, TIA. There are even psychological components that which has been the main problem with the VA. My condition falls somewhere between medical science and psychological science. My symptoms are extremely real. Believe it or not, I've even had people believe or tell me flat out that they think that I'm somehow faking, that this isn't a real thing, which is really tough. It's one of the hardest parts of, especially when you start going through this and going down this road, is being believed, being heard, being just understood is very hard to come by, because when you have all these symptoms and you are clearly suffering, even though people might not mean it that way, it comes across as, what are you doing wrong? What are you doing to yourself to make this hell happen? You're not going to see the right doctors, and people start giving you all this anecdotal information, like, oh yeah, my aunt had that. You just need to tape a raw onion to the bottom of your foot and you'll be a-okay. I've had people tell me I have Japanese encephalitis, that I have all these crazy diseases because they get on WebMD and they want to help, but it is detrimental to the progress, because you wind up going down and wasting time with your doctors, proving out certain ideas that are in no way possible considering the symptoms at hand. So that's what I was saying. You really have to advocate for yourself. And most importantly, if there's anybody in your life that is creating a toxic environment where they, want to somehow act like you brought this on yourself or anything like that, you need to get rid of those people right away. It's not going to get better. It will make your condition worse. I know this firsthand. I've had people that I really care about tell me to my face that they believed that I was faking and or that I had a drug problem. That I was some kind of a drug addict, and that is not true. It never was true. But people love to be right. They love to throw out their ideas, their theories, and they wrap it up in this present for you as if they're trying to help you. But really what they want is they want to be right. And when you tell them, yeah, that's not it, they get kind of insulted. So that's a large reason why I have not shared this story with a lot of people over the years, because like I said before, it was just embarrassing. And I got sick of people trying to tell me how I felt inside my own body. And this is what I'm talking about as far as you have to advocate for yourself. You have to really get in tune with how you feel about yourself, both physically, emotionally, psychologically. You got to get into it and really try to understand, because I had so many things going on. I would go in to see a doctor and they're like, what's your pain level at? I'm like, I don't know, 1 million on a scale of 1 to 10. It's like, what is it? My head, my eye, my neck, my shoulder, this shoulder, my intestines, my hip, my knee, you name it. So everybody wants to quantify things like this. And sometimes these things are not quantifiable. They are, just a mystery. So if you are a caregiver, or you are somebody that loves somebody that's kind of going through something similar, even if they don't have functional neurological disorder, but they're kind of in that anguish stage all the time and you don't know what's wrong with them yet, don't try to fix them. Show empathy, show real compassion. Don't be in such a rush to be right. Don't be in such a, don't convince yourself that you know what's best for a person that's in total anguish. It will make their condition worse, and it will really make them feel very, very alone, and they will withdraw into themselves a lot more. So that's it for today. It's getting dark, as you can see. I'm on the road again. I have all of my possessions loaded up, and I am on the road. And I'm going to keep telling my story. I'm going to keep trying to tell people what it's like living with this. It sucks. It really does. I don't know when my next thing will happen, but I do know that driving seems to help for some reason. Don't know why. It has something to do with neuroplasticity, which I'll get into at a later point. But yeah, so I got diagnosed a year ago, and after a lot of soul searching and a lot of writing things down, I think that I first became symptomatic and really started, having issues about 5 years ago. And if you read anything about functional neurological disorder, you're going to see a lot of people that have it that had the same experience, where they went through years of horrible, horrible symptoms before they actually got their diagnosis, because basically they have to keep eliminating all these other neurological diseases before they get to functional neurological disorder. So it's a tough road, but as long as you don't give up, don't give in, and realize that you are never out of the fight, you can get through it, and it can get better. So until next time, signing off. See you later.